We begin in Raccoon City, which has been thrown into chaos following a zombie apocalypse caused by an outbreak of the T-virus, a chemical developed in secret by the pharmaceutical Umbrella Corporation. On September 28, 1998, former Special Tactics and Rescue Service, or STARS, member Jill Valentine is attacked in her apartment by a sentient bioweapon known as the Nemesis T-type, whose mission it is to kill her and all other remaining STARS members. After narrowly escaping Nemesis, she meets up with current STARS officer Brad Vickers, but Brad is bitten by a zombie and tells Jill to save herself. After another encounter with Nemesis, she is saved by Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service, or UBCS, mercenary Carlos Oliveira. Carlos and his group of surviving UBCS mercenaries, Mikhail Victor, Tyrell Patrick, and Nikolai Genevieve, have set up subway trains which they plan to use to evacuate surviving civilians from the city. After surviving several encounters with Nemesis, Jill manages to reactivate power to the subway and boards the evacuation train while Carlos and Tyrell remain behind to search for Dr. Nathaniel Bard, an Umbrella scientist who they believe has the knowledge to make a vaccine for the T-virus and save the city. As Jill, Nikolai, and Mikhail depart in the train, Mikhail expresses his suspicions toward Nikolai regarding their platoon's earlier ambush by zombies. Nemesis suddenly attacks the train and kills the civilians. Nikolai locks Jill and Mikhail into their train car, forcing them to fend for themselves. Nemesis grabs Mikhail, who sacrifices himself by detonating the explosive he's carrying, causing the train to derail. Jill, seemingly the sole survivor of the train crash, escapes on foot. Meanwhile, Carlos and Tyrell travel to the Raccoon Police Department, or RPD, where they plan to find Bard in the STARS office. The two witness RPD Lieutenant Marvin Branna be bitten by and retreat from a zombified Brad, who Carlos then proceeds to kill. Carlos and Tyrell enter the STARS office and receive a video call from Bard, who informs them that he is trapped in a hospital. Tyrell works on tracing Bard's exact location. Meanwhile, Jill escapes the wreckage of the derailed train, only to be again pursued by Nemesis, who is now more heavily mutated. Jill radios Carlos before being cut off by the creature, and a battle ensues. Jill is victorious and manages to subdue Nemesis, but is infected with the T-virus from its tentacle. Jill falls unconscious, and Carlos finds her about a half day later, taking her to Spencer Memorial Hospital, where Bard and hopefully the vaccine are also located. Carlos fights his way through the infested hospital into Bard's office, only to find that he has been murdered by a bullet to the head and not a creature. He finds a pre-recorded video on Bard's computer where he confesses that the T-virus was engineered by Umbrella, and despite the corporation hiring him to develop the vaccine, Umbrella's board now wants it destroyed, along with all traces of the existence of the virus. Carlos retrieves the single sample of the vaccine in Bard's office and administers it to Jill. Tyrell arrives at the hospital, and they realize that the U.S. government plans to destroy Raccoon City with a missile strike in order to eradicate the T-virus epidemic before it spreads to the rest of the country. Carlos travels to the Nest 2 laboratory complex hidden underneath the hospital to find more vaccine, while Tyrell tries to contact the government to stop the missile strike. Jill awakens, recovered, on the day of the missile strike, October 1st, and follows Carlos's trail to Nest 2. She encounters Nikolai, who is revealed to be an overseer hired by Umbrella, tasked with observing and collecting combat data from the attacks of several bioweapons, including Nemesis. His orders also include the tying up of loose ends regarding the virus, hence his killing of Bard. Nemesis reappears, kills Tyrell, and continues to pursue Jill throughout the lab. She manages to synthesize an additional vaccine vial, but an encounter with Nemesis causes Nikolai to retrieve it for himself as he leaves her to fight it alone. Jill attempts to destroy Nemesis in a chamber with chemicals designed for extreme biological waste disposal, but this only causes Nemesis to further mutate into its largest, most powerful form yet. Nikolai escapes as the final battle begins, where Jill activates and uses a prototype railgun to permanently eliminate Nemesis. On the hospital's roof, where Nikolai's helicopter is parked for his extraction, Jill finds Carlos unconscious and lets her guard down. Nikolai capitalizes on this by sneaking up and disarming Jill, then shooting the vaccine vial, claiming he doesn't care for the city's fate as long as he gets paid for hiding Umbrella's involvement. Carlos intervenes, restraining Nikolai and telling Jill to shoot him, which she does, wounding Nikolai. She then questions him regarding his employer, to which he says he will answer and pay her anything if she takes him with her and he survives. Disgusted by his greed, Jill retrieves the destroyed vaccine vial and escapes the city with Carlos in the helicopter, leaving Nikolai behind for dead. The city is destroyed by the missile strike, and Jill vows to take down Umbrella.